Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Monday Manifest. You might remember that last week I talked about Gears of War 2 because I seem to remember playing a little bit of it, and doing the beginning, but I was never an Xbox kid. We had a PlayStation and we had an N64, and we kind of went from there. Most of the time that I played Xbox was over as a friend's house, like doing Halo 2, LAN parties, stuff like that, but I didn't really own one until more recently, and I really haven't used it a whole lot until like real recently. Like I've been playing games on Game Pass with friends, but it's mostly been PC Game Pass. But obviously, Game Pass on the console is really where the meat and potato. That's where everything's at. Like you have a decent amount of games on PC, but on console you can play so many things, which is why I'm considering getting an Xbox Series S or maybe an X. I don't know. I don't know if I need it. If I'm just using it mostly for like Game Pass Ultimate, probably just get an S because I have an Xbox One and it works fine, but I could do with a little bit more power. And while I could play the stuff on PC Game Pass, like if I'm streaming or recording, I prefer to offload some of the performance like being used onto a different console or something, so that way my PC can focus completely on the streaming upstream and also recording and not have to kind of like juggle many things and get choppy video or audio or something like that. Anyway, so if you remember correctly, I said after I beat Gears of War 2 that I would go ahead and beat Gears of War 3, and I did. And oh man, I have a newfound appreciation for the original Gears games, like because I had only ever played the first one, and I was never big into like shooters and all that, but I can understand now why Gears of War was just such a phenomenon because I'm not really a huge FPS or third person shooter fan, really, but those games were really, really good. And I'm sorry, but like Gears 4 and 5 just felt like kind of soulless in comparison. I don't know. I don't know what the hell it is. I mean, I think they were made by a different studio. Like, I consider them more spiritual successors than like I know they're actually, they're actually direct sequels of, the other parts of the series, but they just never felt the same as playing the original trilogy. And I think part of the problem is we just didn't like they introduced all these new characters and we never really bonded with them in any way. Like as you go through Gears 2 and Gears 3, you really develop like a relationship with these characters, that have been through so much, been together through all these things. And Gears 3 is just like the culminate. You know what? I remember I said in Gears 2, I was like, man, there's actually a point where I was like tearing up and I was like, man, I was not expecting Gears of War, this testosterone filled shooting game where you're taking on these horrifying enemies in droves and trying to like save the world and all that. I was like, man, I wasn't expecting it to have these touching moments. 3 was even like more insane. Like honestly, 3 was just fantastic. Like, 1 definitely shows its age. 2, things just got better, and then 3 was just everything, like all the good things in the games. They were like, this is the culmination of everything, and like just like the areas you went through, the people. Like I just have to say, I can't remember if I said it in the last video or not. Coltrane is my absolute favorite character in the Gears of War series. He's just so good. And the Cole rap at the end of the first one was just it was so cheesy but also perfect. It oh man. But there was just so much more. We learned a little bit about these characters as we went through the games, but for the most part, they're kind of focusing on just staying alive and doing the mission. But I feel like Gears of War 3 did the best at really humanizing everyone because, uh, they're kind of there's a lot that they have to do and shoulder, and so a lot of it is very machismo, like, okay, next thing, okay, we got to shoot this, we got to do this. But it was just nice seeing like there's a lot more to these characters than just, the missions, and like the fact that you got to play in one of the chapters as Cole, like, was great, and it had some really good moments. Like the game really shone a light like on a lot of the characters, and had some fake outs that really had me like, look, there's a major character death in Gears of War 5, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't give a shit about any of those. Like I didn't have a meaningful connection with them. Like I don't know what it was, but like those games 4 and 5 just really never resonated very well with me. Like I guess it's because they felt, even though they use the same mechanics from the other Gears games, they just never really felt like Gears games. Even though the people are wearing the same armor and shooting the same kind of guns and everything, like it felt too clean almost. And then there was the tower defense in 4 that I didn't really like, and then the open world stuff in 5 that I didn't like, and then the last act was like literally an hour. It was very strange. But yeah, just like Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, fantastic. I hope, because I know they remastered the first Gears of War. I really hope that they remaster 2 and 3. Like, I would love if they did that, or at least made it so that we could play it on current consoles or on PC easily. Because I would love to co-op. Because Gears of War 3, you could actually have 4-person co-op, which is insane. But also, like, it's awesome because I could see myself and a few of my friends like going through that game and just having an absolute blast. So, man, it's like, on one hand, I'm kind of regret not playing the game sooner, because you see all the hype about Gears of War and you're like, it's just another shooter game, right? Now, Gears of War, that series is definitely fantastic, and so I don't know, 4 and 5, I might give them another chance, but I felt a little let down, and like, so the future of Gears to me is a little uncertain. But I mean, we'll see. Maybe the next one will be even better, or they'll figure something out. But yeah. Oh, and God, I know the game's like years old, but I don't want to say any direct spoilers for anybody who maybe still wants to play them, or maybe they'll watch this video and be like, man, a guy who doesn't really care about shooters really liked these Gears games. Maybe I should try them out. But there's definitely a couple of very, very like emotional, hard hitting moments. And most people probably already know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was really, really well done. Like that's the thing. The deaths, or the death that happened in Gears 5, felt just like they were like, here's just a thing that happens. Like it felt like an afterthought. It didn't feel like, nothing about it felt like concrete. It didn't feel very symbolic at all. Like it just felt like they were like, well, we should just kill someone to inflict some trauma on these characters. Haha, right? It was just, it felt like such a throwaway thing. But like every death that happens in the original like 3 Gears games really feels like, it really hits home, because you're just like, these are people that I was like fighting with this whole time, and oh man, it's so good. It's so good. But yeah, so that's the Monday Manifest. If you haven't played the Gears games before and you have Game Pass and an Xbox, or just Game Pass Ultimate on the PC, you can cloud game it, which probably would work out okay. I would highly recommend that, because the games are so good. Like Gears 1 is a little rough around the edges. It's the first one, so they were still kind of tightening up things. But 2 and 3, definitely fantastic. Very, very smooth to play. Love the story and the characters in it. Like it's very good. And like I said, the third one is just definitely like cream of the crop. Great stuff. So yeah, thank you for being here on this week's Monday Manifest. I'll have to figure out what the hell I'm going to talk about next week. But for now, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your days and happy new year to all of you, because by next week it'll be 2025 and I still don't know what I'm doing with my life, but you know what? Who really does? You guys have a great one.